recording. This is now going to be part 3. And so this is what's going on right now. So this is, again, August the 26th. This is week 1 of CAD for Construction, fall 2021. And so now what we're going to do is we're going to get into the basics as far as how to use AutoCAD. So what do you get in AutoCAD? What other better way to do this than to open up a, oh, if I can find it, where is it? Right here. Okay, I actually had it running. Let me grab it. Let's see here. I had it running. Let's see here. Well, I guess, okay, I guess I'll go over here and we will, almost there. Hang on a second here. There we go. Oh, okay, here we go. So opening this up right now. Let's see here. That's there. Oh, there we go. Okay, so we got right here is AutoCAD 2022 Essentials. What better way to start than with a PowerPoint? That's what I wanted to say. And so a PowerPoint, it's actually a PDF, but who knows the difference. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about AutoCAD 2022 Essentials. And so as you get into this right now, we're going to talk about getting started with AutoCAD. Now I realize that you have not have, a lot of you don't have AutoCAD installed right now. If you do, we're going to go ahead and start it and kind of set up our AutoCAD interface. And here's the reason why. AutoCAD has some basic things, like when you're driving, when you learn how to drive, typically what you do is when you go through driver's ed, what will happen is you will take a look and you'll get familiar with the basics. Here's the steering wheel. This is how I turn. This is the accelerator. That's the gas pedal. This is the brake. Here's the gear shift selector. Those kind of things. That's what we're going to look at right now, getting started. So understanding how this is. So we'll complete that, understand the basic layout and features, how to start commands in AutoCAD and launch them, how to locate points using the X and Y values in AutoCAD, and how to open and close drawings and so forth. So we're going to do this. So jumping into here right now, we'd start the software. Now for me, I'm just going to go ahead and we're going to start AutoCAD down here. And I think I've got 2022 right here. I think I do. Let's see here. What version do I have? I'll find out here. I think that's AutoCAD 2022. Well, I guess we'll find out. I'll wax bold and I'll click on it. Yeah, there it is. Autodesk AutoCAD 2022. And so as I open this up, it's going to open up, and what it's going to do is we're going to go ahead, we're going to start and take a look at this and see how this all kind of plays out. And we're going to see what the interface looks like, and then we're going to tweak it. We're going to tweak the interface because there are some things you want to do. So as I go through this right now, there's a few things I want to show you that you want to do. And the reason why is AutoCAD ships in such a way as a default setting. So there's a default setting that AutoCAD ships with, and you want to make a couple of little changes, which I'm going to do right now. So I'm going to show you that. So as I get into this right now, I am going to go ahead and going to go up here. And when I want to start a new drawing in AutoCAD, I can use this right here, which is new. I can go ahead and start a new drawing right here, but I'm going to show you something else right here. You can also use a template. So what I've done for you guys is I've provided templates. Let me show you how this works here. So when you're working in AutoCAD, as I go to the CAD, the AutoCAD intro assignments, week 2, you're going to notice that I have something here. I've got AutoCAD intro assignments right here, and I've got the basic drawing template. So this is the direction we're going right now. What you want to do is the very first thing you want to do is you want to go here to AutoCAD intro assignments. So we click on that. And when you click on this, it brings this up right here. Now, what is this? Well, what this is right here is this is a listing of assignments right here. This is what I've got here. Just take a look at this. This is drawing A. And it's the first one we're going to do. It's going to be worth 10 points. This is drawing A. It's basically just a few lines, okay? Then I'm going to, okay, so essentially what you would do is you learn how to draw AutoCAD doing straight lines and how to make the lines certain length, how to make them a certain length, how to actually draw it, how to put in dimensions. So I'm going to show you how to do all this right now. Drawing B is the next one. Looks like this right here. Drawing B looks like that. Drawing C is this one. These are the 3 we're going to focus on right here. Drawing A, B, and C. Now to do this, let me show you something here. You may say, well, how am I supposed to do all that? Well, I've thought this through. And what I came to the conclusion is when I'm working with my students, the first thing you want to do is go here to the AutoCAD Intro Assignments, okay? And you want to download this and you want to print it. Okay, so let me say that again. You want to go here to the AutoCAD Intro Assignments and print this up. It just is easier. You can do it by having it up on the screen and then having double screen. It's easier to print it, okay? Typically when I teach this on campus, when I'm there, I print these out and I give everybody a folder full of these drawings, okay? Since I can't do that, print them yourself, it's just easier. If you don't have a printer, not a problem. You can still draw it off the, just by having it on the computer, it's just a little more difficult. If you have two monitors, that would work fine. So as I got this right here, I've got the AutoCAD Intro Assignments. So as I mentioned, we go ahead and you open those. And when you open those right there, they are then available for you to work with. And then you would go ahead and you go through the process of drawing those. So once you've got that, the next thing I want to show you is I provided for you templates. The templates are right here. This is the basic drawing template. I got basic drawing template, and notice it says A through E and H and J. That's because I got A, B, C, D, and E, all those five, the first five, I'll use the same drawing template. So does drawing H, so does drawing J. I've got a couple others that don't use that template, but for the first few, we only got to consider ourselves this one. So if I go here, I click on basic drawing template, and right here, it basically gives me this right here, and I actually go down here and I can do a download or whatever. What I'm going to do is I'm going to click on it. When I click on it, you'll notice that it does this. It downloads it right down here. It's downloading it right now. Here's my basic drawing template. It's right down there. So what I could do right now in this particular situation, if I double click on this, boom, boom, it basically opens it up in AutoCAD. It opens it up in AutoCAD. You see this right here. Now, when I do this, I'm now in AutoCAD, and I'm going to just do a couple changes. Right now, I'm actually in the 3D modeling workspace. Now, we're not going to be doing 3D. I actually did some 3D stuff. I'll just give you a little quick preview for those that are interested in this kind of thing. But I was actually working on this some time ago. I was actually working with this, and this is one of the things that I teach. I teach 3D as well. And you see this right here? It's kind of cool, little part right there. And be able to go ahead and draw that. So I drew that in 3D. And that's the kind of thing you can work with, but we're not going to do anything with that right now. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to close out of that. And what I want to do is I want to show you something. So now the learning's starting. What I want to do is I want to point out that as you work with AutoCAD, down here at the very bottom, you'll notice there's a gear down here, and it says workspace switching. And so what I want to do is I want to change the workspace that I got here. So I'm going to click on this little arrow facing down. It's like a triangle. So go ahead and I'm going to click there. I'm going to choose drafting and annotation. Drafting and annotation gives me the default workspace. So I click there. When I do that, my ribbon changes. This is the ribbon up here. This is what's called the ribbon. So the ribbon is up here, and the ribbon is where you see home, and then you see insert, annotate, all these things. All these make up the ribbon. That's where we're going to be doing most of our learning right now. Now, here's the other thing you're going to notice is when we double clicked on that template actually started an AutoCAD drawing. And the AutoCAD drawing has some information. It's got these layers: dimensions, object, and text. Object is my current layer right now, so I've got that going on here. So what I want to do is, if I want to begin to draw this, I'd want to set up my drawing environment so that I'm ready to go. So that's what I'm going to do right now. So a couple of things you want to do. When you're working with AutoCAD, one of the things you want to do is, I don't have the default screen right now that typically I like to have, because I was doing some training earlier, so I don't have that. But what you want to do here is over here to the far right here, you could actually click on this down arrow right here. You'll see this. And this is where these different items are here. I'm gonna uncheck workspace because you don't need that. And I'm gonna go there again. I'm gonna uncheck layer. So when I uncheck layer, this is what it's gonna look like when you start AutoCAD just from scratch. If I click on this right here, you want to turn the layer on right here. I just turned it off, but you want to turn it on. When you do this, what it does, it brings your layer right up here. So it's here, and then it's also located here. This just makes life easier when you move from different tabs on the ribbon. So you want to have that up there. So you want to put that up there. Okay, so that's one of the tweaks you want to have right there. Other than that, you also are going to want to take notice of a couple things here. That when you're working with AutoCAD, when you first start AutoCAD, you're actually going to start typically on this kind of this is what's called the Start tab. And the Start tab gives you basic information. This is where we actually have drawings that we worked with in the past. This is where we actually have the ability to start new drawings. This is where we have all this kind of a thing. And this is kind of like your launch pad. So from right here, you see that I have drawing one right here. This is what I already started here. So I got this here, I've got start here, I got drawing one right here. We go to drawing one, it's got this right here, and then we go to A size plot, it's got this, there's nothing on it yet. But we're gonna go back to here. So I'm using that template. Now, I'm gonna show you something else here. Down here, I've got what's called, down here at the lower left, this is called your UCS icon, or just the X and Y icon. Okay, basically it tells you that X is in this direction and Y is in this direction. The X axis controls those things that are horizontal. Y controls the actual orientation on this axis, which is going to be vertical. So you got a horizontal and you have vertical axes. So you have those going on right there. So that being the case, that is something you want to pay attention to. Now, another thing I want to show you right here is this is what is called your command line. I'm hovering over right now. I take my cursor off it. It goes gray. I hover my cursor on top of it and it highlights. Over here, you're going to notice to the far left, you got a little wrench. You got the letter X, and you've got a double row of dots. So if I click on that double row of dots, if I click it, I can pull it up. I can go ahead and pull it. So I can move this around. This is what's known as a floating toolbar. So what I want to do is, first step, you want to take this, you want to drag it down until it docks into your interface. You'll notice that it changed appearance right here into a rectangle. I let it go, then it docks. That's one of the first things you want to do. So to summarize what we've learned so far is up here, you want to put your layer up at the top on your quick access toolbar, and you want to dock your command line. You want to do those two things. Okay, now, when you start AutoCAD, by default, there's going to be a few things that are turned off. I'm going to turn them off right now just so you guys can see what it looks like by default. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through these and turn some things on for you, just so we see how this works, okay? So when you start AutoCAD out of the box and you install it, what's going to happen is it's going to look like this right here. So what I would do is I click on this customization. It's at the lower right corner, 3 horizontal lines. I'm going to click there. When I click there, I'm going to turn on my coordinates. So I click on coordinates, and I turn those on. You want to have those on. Now watch this. If I turn it off, look down here. Watch what happens. Okay, right here, you don't see the coordinates. When I click here, they turn on. And they give me the X, a Y, and a Z value. The Z is always going to be 0 because we're only working in 2D. So coordinates, we turn that on. Okay, this is what you have to do. You have to turn these things on. So you turn on coordinates, and then I go down here and I turn on the dynamic input. You want dynamic input on. Going down here, turning on line weight's not a bad thing to do. And then we go down here and turn on units. And that's all we should need for right now. So again, coordinates you want to turn on. You want to turn on dynamic input. You want to turn on your line weight. And you want to turn on your units. That's all we need for right now. So you have those things. And then they're actually down here. You can see them down here, and they're in place. So we have those things. Okay, so now that we've done that, we've got a basic idea as far as how AutoCAD can work. Now let me talk a little bit about how we would start to draw something in AutoCAD. So let me go back to my discussion here, back over here. So to get into this, we double click on AutoCAD. There's another way to do this, okay? And that is where we can actually tell AutoCAD to do this differently. You can double click on a template, but there's another way. I'll show you the other way just so you can see both ways, because there's times when you do both. So I can close out of this. So, and when I do this, I close out of there, save changes, no. And this is your basic environment that you come into. So if I want to start a drawing, you just wait. By the way, can you see a little red highlighter here on my mouse? Does that help? Yeah, okay. So I'm going to click here. Okay, and if I hover the cursor here, it says new. So I'm going to click on new. Now when I click on new, it says, okay, what template you want to use? And you may say, wait a minute, you know, Professor Brennan, Professor Tom, we downloaded a template, but I don't see it anywhere here. That's okay, because we downloaded it. It's going to be in your download. You just got to go find your download. So this is where you have to have some familiarity with Windows to find it. So what we do is we go to here. We'd say, you know what? I don't want to use one of these. I want to look in a different location. So what would that location be? Well, if I go here, I can go to my desktop. And then when I go to my desktop, I can actually see my whole PC. So I go to my PC right here, and I'm going to go to my downloads here. When I go to my downloads, there it is. Basic drawing template A through E, H, and J. Just like I said, when was it downloaded? August 26, 2001 at 7:44. So that's how you can tell that's the one. Well, at that point, I can say, oh, hey, that's the one I want. So you click on there, and we can then click on open. When you do this, boom, we just started. So now we just started a drawing using that, okay? So that's how we do that. Starting a drawing is that easy. You can use a template. You typically want to use a template. You want to look for them. In this class, I provided the template you use one of those. So that makes life easy. So you download the template from Blackboard, and then you open a drawing and you use it. That's all you have to do. It's not terribly difficult. You guys are all capable of doing it. Okay, now from there, what we would do is after that, we then want to talk about starting the software. We did that. And the user interface, there's some things you want to pay attention to. I talked about the ribbon. The ribbon is up at the top. We saw that. And then there's also the command line. And there's this quick access toolbar. So we'll get into these. We'll get into the nitty gritty in a minute. One of the things I like to do is I like to teach when I'm doing this right here. And I will do this kind of swiftly here if I can. Let me try to do this here. If I go back to here, let me see if I can't do this. Let me see if I can't do this. Okay, all right, we go here. All right, okay, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab this. Okay, I got a couple things I wanna grab here. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab this. I'm gonna grab that, I'm gonna go ahead and grab this. Then I'm gonna go ahead and download this. The Fab 5, I'm going somewhere with this. And next thing I wanna do is I'm going to go to this one here. And this is the 4 Horsemen, I want that too. And there's so many cool things I can show you guys. We just have to kind of like pick our spots here. So right back over here to AutoCAD, I've actually prepared a couple things here. Because when we go to AutoCAD, when you're working with it, the first thing people say is, okay, Tom, this is a lot. I'm looking at a lot of stuff right here. And I'll grant you that there are, but I'm going to break it down and give you what I call the top 40, Tom's top 40. And the top 40 are the top 40 commands in AutoCAD that you use, that you really have to focus on. Beyond the top 40, there's something like 4,000 commands and variables in AutoCAD or more. We're just going to focus on 40, and they're all quite simple. They really are. One leads to the next, leads to the next, so we'll see that. So don't get overwhelmed. It's going to be easy. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to pay attention up to here. This is what we call the draw panel. The draw panel has the basic components: line, polyline, which is a multi-segmented line, circle, arc, rectangle, polygon. You got that. Then the next one is modify, move, copy, rotate, mirror, scale, trim, all that kind of stuff. Then we have dimensions, and that's really all we're going to pay attention to for right now. Those are the basics right there, and they work very nicely. Now, here's the first thing. When you're getting into a car and you get behind the wheel, you want to make sure you know what to do so that you have a proper setup, so your mirrors are set up the way they should be, so the car drives the way that you want it to. So I provided a couple of things here that I find to be useful, and I'm going to go ahead and show these to you. The first one I'm going to grab right here is going to be the 4 Horsemen. I call this the 4 Horsemen of the CAD apocalypse. Okay, can you guys see this right here?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, so these are the 4 Horsemen of the CAD apocalypse. You've got dynamic input, which looks like a plus sign with a prompt next to it. Okay, so dynamic input actually gives you the methodology of seeing where your cursor is and some suggestions next to it. Polar tracking is the next one. It looks like a pizza icon. I call it a pizza, circle and triangle eye. It's really a circle with an angle, but we won't worry about that. Dynamic input, polar tracking. Then these two go together. You've got object snap and object snap tracking. Object snap tracking is the alligator. Object snap is the 2 squares. Okay, so you got the 2 squares, or square squared. Okay, so object snap and object snap tracking. Those are the 4 you want to have open pretty much all the time. So let's go ahead and turn those 4 on, make sure that they are there. So the 4 that you want to have on are going to be these, the dynamic input right here. Now polar tracking, you'll see is turned off. So I click on polar tracking, that's on right now. Then I want to have the alligator, which is object snap tracking and object snap. These go together. So you've got those. Those 4 there. These others, not so important. This is 3D object snap. You don't really need that. And this over here, we don't need that either. Okay, so those are things that we don't necessarily need. I can actually have those. I can go and get rid of those because they're not really all that important. So let's go ahead and figure those out. So we got rid of those. Now, other than that, these 2 we'll address later. Those help us to do dimensions. But for right now, we're not going to those. These 4 are the one you want to be concerned with. And so as I get into this right now, I'm just going to go ahead and do a quick, just do a quick draw. Okay, let me try this again. All right, okay, here we go. So again, 1, 2, 3, and 4. You want to have those 4 turned on. Those are what you want to have turned on. Those are the 4 horsemen of which I spoke. Okay, so go to here, And what I'm going to do is I'm going to then clear all these drawings, get rid of those. Okay, so now that we have
For
those,
some reason, I can't see like the bottom of your screen.
you can't see the bottom of my screen. Is that true for all you guys?
I can see it.
You might have your cursor on the screen. That I had that problem. I moved it, so maybe I'm not sure, but
Okay, let me try this. Let me make sure that, because this is important. Okay, can you guys see my cursor right now at the bottom here?
Yeah, I can
Yeah.
see.
Okay.
Yep.
yep.
I can't.
Okay, if you can't, then that's something on your side. You're gonna have to adjust your screen. You might have to minimize it slightly.
Also, like I see like a bunch of blocks on the screen too. Like I don't.
Okay,
It's weird.
all right, well, hold on. Okay, so let me ask this again. Can you guys see me hovering my cursor with this red highlighter where it says dynamic input? Can you guys see that?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
and I have one student who cannot see that. Okay, so if you're not seeing that, who's having trouble seeing that?
Me, Drew.
But Drew, if that's the case, the one thing I would suggest, and this may or may not help you, I don't know. Typically, that's a screen adjustment thing on your side, and you typically need to kind of like tweak your screen to get it to fit. When you're working with Zoom, very often you're kind of like a window inside of a window environment. So here's what you could do. I'll just go ahead and show you this. If you go up here to the top of your screen and you kind of click this, this right here allows you to minimize or maximize your screen right there. And that may adjust that. Other than that, I don't know what to tell you because everyone else is seeing it, okay? So it's definitely not something on my side, okay?
Okay.
All right, Drew, so anyway, you'll be able to go over this later if you need to, okay? But anyway, it'll be in the video. Okay, so you've got these four different icons that are turned on. Now what those do is they cause AutoCAD to behave in such a way as to make life easy. Let me explain what they do briefly. The first thing you've got right here is you've got this plus sign. That's called dynamic input. Well, what does that mean? Well, let me just show you how this works. If I start the line command is right here. By the way, when you want to start a command, you can hover your cursor over any one of these commands and notice my hands are no longer on the mouse and it still shows up. So you just hover your cursor over the command and it actually gives you a help. It tells me right now a help dialog. And it says, okay, this is the line. And you hold your cursor over it, it shows you more information about that. I'll show you something else that's kind of cool. If I hit my F1 key, watch this. This is worth the price of admission. I hit F1. Now, when I hit my F1, it brings up the Autocad Help. Now, this is extremely valuable. This Autocad Help right here is actually the user's manual all online, okay? So when you hit your F1 key, it's going to go ahead and open this up. And if you're hovering your cursor over something, it'll open it up to that exact place. It's context sensitive. So we have that. Now, you'll notice that this is right here. So you got this going on. So if I scroll down here, I can actually learn about the line command. I can go through here and say, oh, okay, it tells me how to do this and what it does and how I can expect it to behave. Then over here, you'll notice it's got the icon and the word find. Watch this. I click on the word find and watch my screen. And I click on find, and then like that does it. Okay, so let me try this again. Let me do this, see if I like it this way. So I click on find. Okay, it says it doesn't like that. So let me try this again. Turn this off. And I'll try this again. Okay, I'll go to find and F1. Okay, and I click on here. Okay, it's not okay. Typically, it's because I have too much going on my screen right now. I've got too many things happening. But if you go ahead and you click on this, it actually gives you an arrow and tells you where that particular command is. And so if you type in any command here, like let's say I type in move. I type in move. I can then go to the move command right here. It tells about the move command. It tells what the icon looks like. If I click on find, it's going to go ahead. Now, this is not working because I've got these other things that are on here. I don't want to turn them off because it's too hard to get them turned on. So you got that there. But anyway, this is how you can actually learn where the different things are and what the commands do by using help. So help is very valuable. Now, let's go back up to here. So I click on line, you'll notice something here. Notice that you get the plus sign. That is called your crosshairs. And then you'll notice it says something. Who can read what that purple box says?
Specify first point, and
Very
it gives you like coordinates.
Yeah, it's got your coordinates. So it's a specify first point coordinates. Now what's happening right here is AutoCAD is telling you what it wants you to do. All right. So this is where AutoCAD really kind of sets itself apart from other programs. AutoCAD prompts you for what you're supposed to do next. So right now in this command, it says specify first point. Now let me show you something else here. Now, this is interesting. Down here, down in the command line, you see down here, let me go ahead and highlight that if I can. Down here on the command line, you'll notice right down here, it says line specify first point down here. Can you guys see my red highlighter down here?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you see it down here and you see it on your cursor. Okay, so you see it in both locations. So it says specify first point. Now what it's saying here, and as you move your cursor, it gives you the different coordinates. Now, I could pick a specific coordinate or I could type it in. So let's say I wanted to start to draw at 5 inches from the 5 by 5 away from the lower left corner. Okay, the lower left corner is known as 0, 0. 0, 0 is down here. So if I start at 5, 5, it's going to be somewhere out here. So I'll type in 5, 5. Now when I type in that, notice, and yours will be purple, by the way. I just made that purple so it really shows up well for you guys. So I type in 5, 5. When I type in first comma, you'll notice that a little icon appeared and is now in purple with a little icon. What's that icon look like to you?
A lock.
It's a lock, or it could be a handbag, you know, depending upon, you know, if you're my granddaughter. But anyway, which none of you are. But the thing is, so you've got the lock, and what that does is the first time we type in the comma, it locks in that first value, and now it says there. So 5, 5, just like, well, what do I do now? I told it what I wanted to do. Why isn't it doing it?
Yeah, press enter.
Enter.
You had to press enter. Very good. Those of you who know AutoCAD know this one. Now let me just stop, because this is something that's new to a lot of us. Most of us have worked with other programs where you don't have to hit the enter key. The enter key is a throwback to back in the DOS days and so forth, or when you were programming, you put in a line of code and you put in a carriage return at the end. Carriage return, like a typewriter. Anyway, that's what used to be called carriage return, which is what it's called enter now. It used to be return key, like your carriage return. Anyway, more information than you need. But yes, you hit the enter key. So I typed in 5, 5, I hit enter. Now listen, I'm going to hit it real hard. I have this beautiful IBM Model M keyboard that is from a 1984 system. I'm not kidding you. Listen to this. Isn't that beautiful? It's loud and proud, man. Okay, so 5, 5. And now at this point, it found this location. Now at this point, okay, I'm ready to go. So I'm at 5, 5 away. I hit the enter key and I move over. Now it's saying, well, where do you want to go, Tom? Where do you want to go? Now notice that AutoCAD's saying something else now. Now it's saying, now notice that right here, it's just saying specify next point. But if I pull it off of here, it says specify next point or. Or is the biggest, it's the biggest word in life, all right? Because in your life, you'll have all kinds of decisions. I'm getting philosophical. But anyway, you could say, well, you know, I could go into business directly and get a job, or I could go to college. I could marry this crack addict, or I could maybe look for someone who's a little bit more mature. I could take all my life savings and bet it on Rosebud in the 5th, or I could invest it. Okay, so or is it's an important thing in life. Okay, so in AutoCAD, it gives you choices. The default is to specify the next point, or you can do something else. Well, what is that something else? Well, there's ways to find out. First of all, it's right down here, or undo. You can do that. It's right down there. It says specify next point, or, and then it gives your options right down here. So if you don't know, just look. But that's not all. AutoCAD is redundant. It gives you many different ways to do the same thing. So another way I can do this is watch my finger. I take my finger and I press the down arrow key. So when I press the down arrow key, it gives me this. There's the undo option right there. Another way to do this is I right click the mouse and there's undo there. So I've got all these ways to do the same thing, okay? So as I pull this over right now, what I want to do is I want to draw that drawing A because it's due. And Professor Brennan said, if I don't get it in, I'm going to lose points. So I got to get that in. So you print it out, your drawing A, and you go back to here. And now what I do now is I got to find that thing. So I go out here and let's find it. And we'll do this bit by bit here. I'll go back to here and we will just go through this and we will find that. And as we go through this, looks like I will go ahead and grab that again, I guess. So I'll go to here and we go to this and I go to my AutoCAD intro assignments. If I didn't print it, I can just do it online. And let's just take a look at this, okay, see what's going on here. So I've got this. So what I got going on right here is I have this drawing in. Now, what's happening right now is I'm drawing in cyan. Cyan is basically, here's a little lesson in computer colors, okay? This is something you may or may not know. Does anybody out there know how many, well, it's changed now, but anyway, I'll just tell you because there's a lot of that's happened in graphics right there. But it used to be that in computer graphics or in TV, basically what you had is you had what was called RGB. Has anyone heard of RGB?
Yep.
Roy G. Phillips?
Well, it stands for three colors: red, green, and blue. Basically what's happening right now, think of it this way. Now, this is kind of a crude way of explaining it, but when you are looking at a computer screen, if you ever look really, really closely, have you ever noticed it's a bunch of dots? You ever notice that? Those dots are called pixels. And because each pixel is a gun that fires color. Okay, actually there's three guns for each pixel. There's a red gun, a green gun, and a blue gun. Now I'm talking generically, but just take that. So you got RGB, you got a red gun, a green gun, and a blue gun. If only the red gun is on, you get the solid red color. That's AutoCAD color number 1. If you turn on just the green gun, you just get green. That's AutoCAD color number 3. If you use just the blue, that is AutoCAD number 5. Now this is just information I'm giving you, RGB. And then they mix them. And cyan is actually a complete mix with green and blue, all right? So it's not the same as mixing colors with crayons or paints. Light is different, okay, the way it mixes colors. If you mix green and red, you get yellow. All right, so anyway, cyan is the default color that I'm using right now. So anyway, look at this right here. I'm starting at this lower left corner right here. I'm going to go over from here to here. So what is the overall length starting from here, this blue line? How far over to the right would I need to go?
8.
8.
It's 8. 6.5 plus 1.5 is 8. Very good. So I go back to AutoCAD and I'll go ahead and tell it that. So how do I do that? I pull my cursor over here. And, okay, what I'll do is I'll just go ahead and pull the cursor until I get exactly 8. Let's see here. Well, that's kind of tough. And you could be sitting here for a long time, okay? So you don't have to do it that way. You just pull the cursor over and you make sure it's straight. Notice I've got the cursor and it's off kilter right now. It's not at a 90-degree angle, and it's giving me and saying, hey, this is not in a straight angle. But if I pull it down here, notice what I get here. When I pull it down there, it locks it in. Why is it locked in? Because AutoCAD is using polar tracking. That's one of the 4 horsemen of the CAD apocalypse. The polar tracking is the pizza icon. That's the circle with the angle on it. It's saying, hey, you and me, we're going to work together here, and I'm going to help you to draw out an angle. That's what's happening right there. So I'm pulling it over right now, and you can know that you're at a 90-degree angle by the dashed green line. That's called a tracking vector. The tracking vector is actually showing you you're going to draw on this line. So I pull it over to the side now. Now, the distance that we said was 8. So how do I tell it that it needs to go 8? I type in the number 8. I take my finger. I press the number 8, okay? The number 8 appears, okay? Wow, all right. How do I tell AutoCAD that's the number that I want?
Press enter.
Press enter.
You press enter, boom. Model and keyboard. Okay, now we'll continue on through here and we will continue on through this. Now, next thing I want to do is now I'm going to go up and I'm going to go up 4. Okay, then I go over 1.5. So I pull my cursor straight up, I type in 4. All right, and I do that. So I go straight up and I type in 4. Okay, and then basically over here, then I go back in this direction, 1.5. So I pull my cursor over in this direction and you'll notice it locks it in. So once I pull it over, I can take my hands off the mouse. It's locked in. I can just type in the value. I don't have to hold the mouse and keep it together. So I type in 1.5 and enter again. So I've got that. Now I pull it straight down. Now just to make the,
Professor,
yeah, question.
after we finish this, how you want us to turn this in?
Oh, what's that now?
After we finish this, would you want us to turn this in and how?
When it's done, yes, you're gonna put the text at the bottom and you're gonna turn it in by going to the intro assignments, AutoCAD intro assignments, which is right here. And what you would do is to turn it in, you go right here, and you would turn it in right here where it says drawing A. This is where you do it, and this is where you would name it, all in capitals, by the way. Drawing A with your last name, okay? So is that Elijah asking me?
Yeah, I just want to make sure it's like we actually take it and put it into Blackboard instead of
Yep.
taking a picture and then uploading it.
Yep, and so that basically would say drawing A space dash space capital Hardaway. You got me? All right, very good. So that's what you do there. Okay, so you got that. Okay, so now going down this direction, just so that I realize some of you know AutoCAD pretty well already. So thank you for your patience. Those who,
Sorry, Professor.
yeah,
I will put in week 2.
I'm sorry.
I will save in week 2 in Blackboard. Week 2 or in week 1.
Oh, well, there's only one place to save it. It's located.
Oh,
it's-
she's asking week 2. It's in
Yeah,
week
it's-
2.
It's actually under week 2 because it's not due till next week.
Ah, okay. Okay.
It's due before, yeah, it's due at the beginning of next week's class. So it's right here, and there's only one place to find it. It's right here. It's under drawing A. Now let me just stop because I'm throwing a lot at you. Does that make sense right there? What you would do, you draw it up and then you'd upload it right there. Does that make sense, you guys?
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's what you do. If you have further questions, you can ask. I realize some of you guys are, the light's going on and that's great. Okay, good. There's actually,
Thank you.
it's, okay, you good there, Sandra?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay, good. Okay, so from there,
Thank
yeah, sure. Okay, so moving on from there, now we're here. And now, just to go back to here, I want to make sure that we're all drawing correctly. Okay, where's this? All right. Don't use any other sheet of lesson again. Okay, I'll get into service. Yeah, so go back here. Yeah, back to here. Okay, so back over to here. And yeah, okay, so back over to here just to make sure we're on the same page. Okay, now, so here's the thing. I've got the number 4 over here, and I realize this is very simple to you guys. I've got some beginners here, so please put up with it if I'm being a little too, I don't mean to be too simplistic, but I just make sure everyone's getting this. So I got the number 4 over here, 1.5, 1 1/4, and 1 1/4 equal 2.5. So that means 4 minus 2.5. This is 1.5 going down. So I go down here, that's gonna be 1.5. So you'll have to do some math here. Or you can't get away from that. You learn AutoCAD, you gotta do some math. Now over here, I'm just gonna give this one to you. This is 2.75 over, and then it goes down 1.25. So 2.75 over and 1.25 down. So over here, 2.75, 2.75, and then down. Okay, and I said it was 1.25 down. So 1.25 down, then over 1, then up 1.25, and then over 2.75, 2.75, like that. And then to finish it, I could actually do it in several different ways. One of them is I can use the close option, or I can just pull my cursor down and snap to it. It won't do the same thing. Object snap allows you to go to here and to snap to it. You'll notice that when I put the cursor here, it doesn't find it. When I touch it here, a square appears. That's called an object snap, all right? So I click there, and then I hit my escape key, and I'm done. Or I can right-click and choose enter. And that is how we draw that shape. So that is how we draw that. And then if I want to check it, here's a really cool thing. By the way, to end a command, you either right-click and choose enter, or you hit your escape key and you're done. Okay, so I've got that. Now I'll show you something here. Let's say I didn't like what I made. I could go over here and use my undo. Undo is up here. Now undo is something that you use when you don't want to have something anymore. You made a mistake. Okay, so I click on undo. It looks like an arrow going to the left. Right. Click on undo, and basically it does that. It disappears. It gets rid of it. It just erased it. Now I'm sitting here saying, oh man, that was stupid. I really wanted that. I sure wish there was a redo. Well, look at this. There's an arrow over here to the right. If you have your cursor over it, it says redo. So I click on redo, and it brings it right back. So you got undo, you got redo. So if you inadvertently go one step too far with your undo, just don't panic, just redo it. Go back to where you were. This is something that you learn as you're going through undo and redo, and it's very flexible. So these are all the basics right now. Now I'm going to show you something else here. To move around in AutoCAD, like let's say I wanted to basically move this on my screen like right now, I've got on my desk, I've got this yellow pad, okay? So I can take the yellow pad, and I'll let you guys see this. And I can take it, I can do this, move it like this. All right, like that, okay? I move them side to side, okay? That is what AutoCAD calls panning, okay? So if I want to pan, I hold down the wheel on my mouse. You'll notice, those of you who got the email I sent, you need a wheel mouse. You'll hold the wheel down, and you'll notice it turns a little hand icon. I can move it around. That's how I move it. So I can move it to the right, move it to the left, move it up, move it down, even diagonally, like the bishop in chess. All right, anyway, but so that is how you hold down the mouse and you can pull from side to side. Then if you want to zoom in, you simply roll the button forward. Move it in, move it out, zoom in, zoom out. So between these two, you can move it any you want to. That is all the mouse. The mouse controls how you zoom and how you pan. Okay, these are basics. I realize I got a lot of new people here, some veterans, but just please stand by. Okay, there'll be more. Now here's something really cool. This is something you may not have known. If you double click the wheel on your mouse, you zoom to extents. Okay, so watch this. I'm going to double click the wheel on the mouse. Boom, boom, and it zooms to extents. That means all the information that's on your screen will zoom out to fill the screen. That is zoom extents. That's double clicking the wheel on your mouse. Then I just zoom it down to the right position. So I've got that. So these are some of the basics right now. So you saw that I picked up the line command right here. I've got the circle command. I got these other things. I got move and copy, rotate, and I can move this from side to side. Okay, so I've got those. Okay, so that's an introduction. That's how we begin to draw. We also saw that AutoCAD is prompting us. Next thing, now I'm going to put in some dimensions. Now to put in dimensions, this is how I can measure. Yeah, question there, Kay?
Yeah, just a quick one. If your mouse doesn't have a wheel, is there a way to use those functions or just?
Yeah, if you don't have, first of all, I would recommend you get a wheel mouse. You can get one for $5, you know, so I definitely recommend you get one. It'll make life a whole lot easier for you. But if you don't, you could actually, there's a lot of different ways to do that. You can go over here. This is your navigation bar right here. And you click there, you got zoom, windows, all these different options are right here. So if you like just click on, for instance, zoom window, that lets you just pick 2 points like this. Okay, so you can go ahead and do that. And if you need to pan, you just click on this, and now lets you pan like this. All right. So yeah, and that's just, there's like a lot of different ways to do that. You can also type in the letter Z. You type in the letter Z, all the options are down here, all center and so forth. I go to window and do this. Okay, I can do that. I can type in the letter P, and that's panning. I'm in here right now. So yeah, there's a lot of different ways to do the same thing. The mouse is the easiest way, but if you don't have a wheel, you can get by without that. Yeah, question, Suar? You're muted. I can't hear you. You're muted right now, Suar. Yeah, I can't hear you. I can't hear you. Let's see here. Yeah, something's going on there. I'm not hearing you. Yes, Saror, do you have a question? I can't hear you. I can't hear you. Still can't hear you. I don't have you muted. Let me take a look real quick, make sure I don't have anything on my side. Yeah, you are. Let me do this real quickly here. Let me see if I can't. Yeah, no, you're not muted on my side. Let's see here. Could I have someone else? Kay, could you just open up your microphone, make sure I can hear you are here? Okay, make sure my.
Yep.
All right, I'm hearing you. All right, Saror, I can't hear you for some reason. I do not have you muted. I don't know why. So if you want to chat your question to me, you can type it into the chat, okay? And then I'll take it from there. Okay, so anyway.
She just put it in the chat.
Okay, very good. Let me pull the chat out there. Here we go. Okay, thank you. And yes, okay. Is the starting point matter, or can we start from 0, 0? Yeah, you can start from 0, 0 if it's easier. Yeah, if that, a lot of people like to do that. A lot of people like to start at 0, 0. The only reason I don't start you doing that is because it crams the drawing into the lower left corner, and a lot of times people get frustrated by that because I haven't shown them how to pan and zoom yet. So that's one reason I had to start from 5,5, okay? Yeah, very good. Yes, you don't have to, no. And good question. Good question. No, you don't have to. But I'll tell you this right now. I had one student who I will now bring up, and I will try to refresh you with how well I know, how well I took down notes here. We're going to do that. Let's see here. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, it looks like I'm just gonna have to ask. Okay, at least one of you was interested in the whole CNC thing. And so the CNC thing, actually, that's where that would really come in handy, because what's happening right there is as you get into that, your 0,0 is going to make a big difference as far as like where you actually, yeah, it was Logan. Logan asked about that. So when you're working with something like CNC design, the tool path is going to really be looking for a point of origin. So 0,0 is a very logical thing to start. When you're doing architecture, it's not necessarily quite so demanding, but it's not a bad thing. But in any case, I had to start from 5,5, but you could always move it down to 0,0 if you wanted to. All right. So that's what you can do. Now, let me show you something here, because as you work with AutoCAD, one thing that will happen is you're going to do this. You're going to click while you're not doing anything, and then AutoCAD is going to do this. And you're going to say, whoa, what's that? Why is AutoCAD drawing a green rectangle? Why is it doing that? You know, or you click and hold it down. Whoa, what's going on? And what's going on is AutoCAD, AutoCAD is always looking at your mouse and just sitting there waiting for you to tell it what to do. If you click and let go of the mouse, AutoCAD says, oh, he wants to select some stuff. He wants to grab some things, or she wants to grab some things. I can go in this direction, same thing. So if I select from right to left, anything this touches gets selected, okay? As I go along here, you'll notice that each line, as I touch it, gets selected, okay? It's gotta be just touched. If I go from left to right, the object has to be entirely inside the selection window, okay? That's the difference between the blue selection, which is known as a window, and the green selection, which is known as a crossing. And if you click and hold it down, you can make any shape that you want to. The same rules apply, all right? If I go from this direction and go over, I go like this, it does that right there. So you can make different kinds of shapes. So AutoCAD's going to do that for you. If it's doing this and you don't want it to, just hit your escape key to get out of it. Now, let me show you something very cool. When you don't have any command ring in AutoCAD, down here it'll say type the command. That means you're in neutral. That means AutoCAD is in neutral or in park. You're not doing anything. So AutoCAD will not do anything. It's waiting for you to do something. So let's say I click on this line here. When I click on that line, I just told AutoCAD I wanted it to do something. And what it did is it gave me what are called grips. Grips are actually an editing technique, but they do more than that. What they do is they begin to display information about that particular entity. That's a line. So if I hover my cursor over this line down here, it tells me, oh, that line is 4 inches long, and the angle is 90 degrees. Okay, now I clicked on the line, and I hover the cursor. You'll notice my cursor is red over that grip. I pull it off. It has well, anyway, if I click on this, and if I click on this right here, I can then I click on this line, and then I hover my cursor over it like this. I do that. It hovers over there and shows me this, tells me it's 4 by 8. So now I realize what those sizes are, so I can do that. Now, if I want a permanent dimension, oh, by the way, I'll just show you this really quickly here too. If you go up here to utilities, you can actually measure stuff by going to distance right here. I use the distance, and then just click on 2 points, 0.1 and 0.2, and it tells me it's that. That's another way to measure. But I'm going to put dimensions down that are going to be more or less permanent. So I click this drop down, and I'm going to choose my dimensions layer. Now, right now, object is my current layer, so I click on dimensions. That makes the dimensions current layer. Now, at this point, that means anything I draw will be in red. Now, my dimensions, the most commonly used dimensions are right here. I use linear. Linear is your go-to. So go to linear. I'm going to start by clicking on this line, this intersection here, and then this intersection down there. And then I'll pull the cursor over to the right like that. And that gives me 4, so I've got that. And then I'm going to do is I'm going to repeat that. I'm going to go to linear again, and I'm going to draw this to here, there, and that's 1.5. And I go to linear again. I'm going to click here, and there. I'm going to pull this up. Now notice something here. I pull my cursor up here, and you'll notice as I'm doing it right here, if I hover right here, it actually wants to align itself with the previous dimension. You don't just have to guess. You can pull it right up here and just pull it till it finds it. Because it's, you know, kind of like in Lord of the Rings reference here. It's kind of like the ring. It wants to be found. Okay, so you got it right here. If there's any Lord of the Rings geeks here, you'll know what I'm talking about. But you're going to click it there. Okay, so you do that. So once you've got it like there, you're looking good. And then you would continue on. Now, if you want to repeat a command, here's something real cool. You can right-click your mouse, and you'll see you got your recent input right here. And the last thing you use is right here. So if I go here, I can go to a dim linear. That means dimension linear. And I can go ahead and continue to draw here. So go to here, I go to here, I'm going to pull that up, and I'm going to repeat it. I go from here to here, go like this. Now, I'm showing you how to do this first assignment. So here and here, I pull it over. I'll do it one more time. Here to there. Pull it over. And at that point, I think I've got the whole thing. So I've got that on here. Let's see. Let's go take a look at it. Let's see how we do it. Yeah, that's everything right there. And so as we did that, we got this all together. The only thing left is to put this text in. It says drawing A down here. So we're going to do that right now. So to do that, I go back to AutoCAD and I'm going to change my layer here to text. And then to put text in, I'm going to go up here to the text tool. So I click on this drop down and go to multi-line text. So we do this. I click on multi-line text. I'm going to click here and put my cursor down here. And I'm going to type in all in caps, drawing A. Okay. And you don't put your name here. You're just going to do that. Now, if I want to move this, I can click on it. And when I click on it, it shows me the grips. I can just click on this grip. And when I do, it turns red. And I'm going to drag it over here. I can go ahead and center it like that. I can go ahead and do that. And that's what you do. Now, to save it, so now the drawing is complete. So I'd save it. So to save it, I'd go up here. This is save as. All right, this keeps me from naming it something I don't want to. So save as looks like a floppy disk with a little chunky pencil. So I click on that. And as I click on that, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to save it to my desktop. I'm going to go ahead and call this one right here. I'm going to call it right here. Okay, to remember here, draw. I'm going to show you how to get 10% of your grade. Drawing A, space, hyphen, space, or space dash space, Brennan. Yeah, that's how you name it. Always caps, always like that. Always, always, always. Then I click save. Now, once I've done that, I saved it. Then I would go out here and I'd go out to my AutoCAD intro assignments week 2. I'd go here and I want to turn it in. And here's drawing A right here. Complete drawing A and upload it here. How do I do that? I click it here. So I click on that and it says, oh, okay, go ahead and submit it. So where do I find it? Well, I have to find it. And to find that, I have to go ahead and find it. So I go to attach it. And I can browse my local files or file them somewhere else. So I go to browse my local files. I go here. And I'm going to go ahead and look for it out here to my desktop. I'm going to drawing A, Brennan, grab it. I'll go ahead and click on open. And at that point, I've got it. It's all right here. It's here. It's here. I'm ready to go. Now I hit submit. Now, it's not going to submit it because right now I do not have access to the class as a student. Okay, so it won't let me submit it like that. So I click on submit, and it'll tell me I can't do it. It says submission from previous assignment is not saved. It won't let me do it, but it will let you do it. So that's how you do that. Does that make sense, everyone? Yes, okay, thank you. Thank you. And top drawer. Okay, great. So we got that. Okay, so now that we've got that, okay, we've got the very basics right here. So that is how we would begin to maneuver here. So we did that. So we did that, we did this. Now we go ahead and close out of there. Boom, done. That's drawing A. Let's go ahead. It's 8:31. Let's take 5 minutes. You guys can get a drink or something. We're going to continue on here. I'm going to cover drawing C, drawing B and drawing C, which are very similar. And then we're going to, basically, that's going to be it for tonight. So we're going to go a little bit further. We're going to push a little bit harder. Let's take 5 minutes right now, just so you can get up, stretch your legs. We'll come right back, okay? So I'm going to mute my microphone, and I'll see you guys in just a few minutes here.
Professor.
Yeah.
Would you recommend us saving it on a flash drive also?
Would I recommend you save it on a flash drive? Well, you can definitely save it on a flash drive for sure. What I typically do if I'm working at home, I just save it to my desktop and then I submit it right away.
Yeah. All right. And then all we're doing when we come back is working on the drawings.
And then what now?
So we're just working on the drawings after our break?
That's all we're doing for right now. That's all we're going to do. That's going to be drawing A. We're going to be working on drawing B and C. We're going to get those drawn, and those are going to be due for next week too. But that's what we're gonna continue on with after we take a 5-minute break.
That's all that we're gonna be doing for the rest of class.
You will be doing that. Yes, that's what we're gonna be doing. I may get to drawing B, so we'll get to B, C, and possibly D. So that's what we're gonna be doing. Yep.
I do have a question. So I had submitted like the thing with the dimensions all out, but the colors aren't the same. Is that gonna be points off, or is it gonna be?
Yeah, well, you didn't use the template then, did you?
I did use the template. I just didn't know how to change the color at the time I submitted it.
Okay, yeah, well then if you did that, first of all, I can back out your submission if you submitted it before you were ready. But yes, I definitely grade off on that. There's not that much to get right. I want it completely exactly as I give it to you. I don't want it to deviate. I don't want it to be close. I want it to be exact. All right? So therefore,
Okay.
if you want me to back out your submission, you'll have to email me and ask me to do that. Okay? If you ask me to back it out so you can resubmit it, I will do that for you. But I'm not just going to do it, unless you formally ask for it. Okay?
Okay, I'm sorry.
No, not a big deal. I'm just telling you right now that we're all learning. Nothing to be sorry about. I'm just telling you right now. I do have to back it out though, because once you submit it, the system, boom, it says that's it. And it's like you can't pull it back out, but I can. It's not a big deal. But I like to have a paper trail, in this case an email trail, of what the request is and why I did it, so that we're all on the same page. So it's not a big deal. I'm happy to do it. Just send me an email even right now, and I'll be happy to do it. I'll get it done tonight. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Would you mind if I just backed out of class and downloaded CAD fully and get it done on my own?
If you're experienced with CAD and a lot of it's just review for you, I have no problem with you doing that at all.
Okay, I just want to make sure it feels okay because I have to restart my computer to fully download it, it says.
No, it's so here's the thing. As I work with this right now, you guys are professionals. You guys, I treat you like professionals. I realize you're students, but I try to treat you like adults and like professionals. Okay, meaning you can manage your time, you understand what you need to do, and if hearing me blather on about stuff that you've known for 4 years is not going to be helpful, and you know what the assignments are, and you're clear on it, no problem. More power to you. Go use your time. Okay.
Okay.
I'm going to restart my computer right now as well, but will you let me back in a minute when the break's over?
No, I don't think so. No.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, no, of course I won't. So, okay, see you guys in 5 minutes from now. Okay, I'll see you guys 5 minutes from now.
All right, Professor, I'll see you next class. I'm gonna get that done and I'm gonna get it to you today.
And not a problem. Not a problem. And enjoy it. And looking forward to seeing your work. Okay.
All right, I hope you have a good one.
Thanks for letting me know. Yeah. Bye-bye. Okay, we're back at it now. We will continue on here. Let's see here. I do know.
Professor,
Yeah. Yeah.
can you show me how to put down text? I'm sorry, I didn't want to interrupt you when you were leaving.
Sure, sure. Let's see here. Yeah, to put text
Yep.
in. Sure. So to put in text, what you would do is back into here. Let's say this wasn't here. What I would do is I would go up here. First of all, I change the
Okay.
current layer
Yep.
to text. All right, and then what I do is I click on this drop down here and I choose multi-line text here. So I choose that. Then what I do is I pick one. Now at this point, it's asking to make a rectangle. Specify first corner. So I go ahead and pick one corner and another. And then I type in the value, which is drawing A. And then when I'm done, I click either outside of it or I click this green check mark. Either one will dismiss this.
All right, thank you.
And that's sure, sure. Okay, and I want to make sure that I can get my students back in here.
Did you get my email?
I did. It just came through.
Okay,
So
thank
we're
you.
gonna go there. Yep, no problem, no problem. So I think we are good to go. Let's see here. All right.
More of a curiosity question, but what are all the gray boxes that show up on our screen? You seem to be clicking on them.
The gray boxes. Oh, okay. Those are actually right there. Those would be dialog boxes, I think, that I'm actually using on my side. It's like the Zoom control panel. And I don't really know what you're seeing, but that's my assumption. Hey, are you connected back up?
Yeah, thank you. I
not
actually,
getting-
because of the parallel system, I actually didn't have to restart my actual computer. I had to restart my fake Windows computer. So I didn't have to get booted off. Thanks.
All right, good, good. Okay, so the question was, okay, you guys are seeing evidently some gray boxes on the screen here?
Yeah, that's right. You move them around from time to
Okay.
time, but we can't tell what they are.
And what they are is those are control panels. And that's just one of the things about Zoom. I actually do professionally, not this isn't professionally, but I guess I have to make a difference. You know, right now I'm training with you guys, I'm training academically. You know, I'm training at a community college. So I'm in the SUNY system, so this is academic. Professionally, I do contract training, and that training, I actually use GoToMeeting for that. And GoToMeeting does not have that same particular characteristic. In other words, I have a control panel that I use as a teacher, and that control panel is hidden to the students. Evidently, the control panel is not hidden in Zoom, is what I'm guessing.
Okay, just curiosity more than anything else.
Yeah, no, that's what it is. So I hope it's not I hope it doesn't hide. If it's hiding things that I'm working with, let me know. I try to move it out of the way, but it could be you need to see something. But anyway, there we go. Okay, so that's how we do that. That is drawing A. Okay, so what we learned there, what did we learn? We learned how to start a drawing using the new command and use a template. The templates, we download the templates from Blackboard and we use the template, okay? So that's what we do there. Now, the next thing we learned is we set up our screen. We learned that AutoCAD allows us to actually draw straight lines. We actually supply distances, and then we can also put in dimensions and so forth. So we're able to draw this successfully. So that was drawing A. We're going to do drawing B, and drawing B is going to be essentially a variation on this theme. So I'm going to close out of here, and it would ask me to save change. In this case, yes, okay? So now, to start another new drawing, we're going to go right through the same thing we did before, which I go up here, which is new. I hold my cursor up here, it says new. Now, by the way, if I want to do this in a different way, I can go up here and click this drop down. This is the application menu, and I've got new right there as well. So I can do it either way. So I click on new, and it says, okay, what do you want to make? And this is where I go out and I drill out to my downloads. And in my downloads, there would be, out here in my downloads, there would be the basic drawing template. This is also for B. So I go to here and I hit open, and boom, and I'm loaded for bear. I'm ready to go again. So let's go ahead and take a look at this next one. Let's go over here and let's take a look at drawing B. So I'll go here, and what I'll do is I'll go backwards over here to see drawing A, and we'll go back here, and this is what we got. Now we're going to do drawing B. Now going back to here to drawing B, as I begin to do this, over here. right, try to get this. All right, so this, that, there we go. So I'm going to flip this. So I got drawing A and drawing B. So I got drawing B here. Now drawing B here, you're going to notice is pretty much the same things we had before. What you got in this one is you actually have an overall length of 7. Okay, and then there's some other values here. It's kind of like a stair step type thing. This one is actually pretty much the same kind of thing we did before. So we go at the lower left corner and we would go 7 over and then 4 up. So let's start that. Let's start with that right there. 7 and then 4. So over here, what I would do now, if I wanted to start at 0, 0, because the question came up, I could do that. Start at my line command here. And when it asks me where I want to start, I would go ahead and tell it 0, 0. When I do that, it starts down there. Now, this is why I typically don't have you do it, just because it can be a little bit disorienting, but that now I'm starting at 0, 0. So I'm going to pull the cursor over here. What did I say? I said 7, and then I said 4, I think. So 7 and then 4. Okay, so we're off to the races. Then I go back to here and I start taking a look at this. So 7 and then 4. And then I'm going to go over this distance. So the difference between 7 and 6 is 1. So I go over 1. And then I go down 1 again. 1, 1, 0.5, and 1. 1, 1, 0.5, 1. So over 1, down 1, and then 0.5, and then 1, I believe. Yeah, that's it. It's right there. Okay, so then that gives me that right there. So I've got that much. And so now at this point, the next distance is from here to here. This is 5.5 minus 2. So it's going to be over 3.5, and then up 1. So 3.5, then up 1. So 3.5, and then up 1. Okay, and then I go over 1, and then down 1, and then down 2. 1, down 2, and then back over 1. And then I can close it or I can snap to it. Like that. At that point, I'm done. Okay, so I've got that. So there it is. Okay, so now that I've done that, I can hover my cursor with no command running, so I don't have a command running right now, just so you guys are clear about this. Down here, it says type a command that tells me I don't have a command running, so I click here, and this highlights this, and I hover my cursor, and it gives me that distance there. If I click on this line down here, I now have both these distances right there, like that. So now we got that. So now I'm going to move over here, and I'm going to change this to dimensions, go to linear, and I'm going to go ahead and supply these values starting from here. So here, like this, and I go ahead and pull up, and I missed that one. Now, by the way, I missed that snap, and I might say, oh man, I screwed up. Well, actually, look at this, I just missed it. So I can click on this if I missed it and drag it over, snapping it. And I see that, nope, I didn't miss it. I'm actually fine with that, so I did that. So moving on along, I did that one, and then what other distances here? Did it again. Missed the snap. Okay, and then at that point, we're looking pretty good. What else do we need here? So I need 3 and then 2. Let's see here. Something like that. Yeah, I think that all. Okay, so that's what you got right there. So that's how we go ahead and draw that. Same thing. You check your dimension, you should be good to go. And then we do the same thing we did before, which is actually going to the text layer. And then we go ahead and go to text, multiply text. And I'm showing you the basics here. I click here, I go ahead and type in drawing B. So do the same thing, B-R-A-W-I-N-G, B, like that. Okay, and then if I want to move it, I can just go ahead and click on this and click on the grip and move it over. Okay, so I do the same thing, save as. I'm going to save it as. And go to here, save it as. And then this one, I go to the desktop, and I'm going to call this one the same thing, which is going to be drawing space hyphen space. I got that. So I got that. So that's 2 in place right there. So I got that. Okay, now that I've done that, I'm going to do one more. Now this one's a little trickier because this one actually has some angles down here. So it's got angles and it also has this interior rectangles. These are things that I have to take into consideration with this. It's got an overall length of 7, a little tab, which is 0.5, and then over 1, and so forth. So I've got all these things going around. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw this one. So I'm going to draw this one. Do the same thing I did before. I go to new, and I go to my template. Now, by the way, it's going to default to these templates, just how AutoCAD's written. You can change that for this particular course. We're just going to go to our downloads, where we downloaded this, and now I'm going to draw this next one. So now I'm in this one again, and so I'm going to start this right now. I've got this line right here at the top, which is 7. I'm going to start at the upper left of this one, just because it's a little bit easier. So go down 0.5 over 1, and then this distance is 2.5. So 0.5, 1, 2.5. So we'll do that. So I'm drawing the upper left corner. So I'll start here. So 0.5, and then 1, and then 2.5. 2.5, okay. Okay, now at this point, I'm right down here. Now this is where this gets interesting, okay? Because as I begin to work with this, I'm going to see that there are a couple things I can do here. First of all, I'm going from this location right here. And now what I want to do is I want to go down and to the right. Let me explain something here. When you're working with AutoCAD, you can either click and drag your mouse and type in the distance, or you can type in an X and Y value. The X and Y value is essentially going to give you 2 numbers. In this case, you've got 1 and 1. Okay, so from this location right here, you want to go down 1 and over 1. In AutoCAD, the way you do this is starting this point right here. If you go to the right, that's positive. If you go to the left, it's negative. If you go up, it's positive. If you go down, it's negative. Okay, so again, if you go to the right, it's positive. Go to the left, it's negative. If I go up, it's positive. If I go down, it's negative. So this is how you do this. So going from this location right here, I'm going to the right. So would the right be positive or negative?
Positive,
Positive. And then I'm going down. Would down be positive or negative?
negative.
Negative. So what I'm doing right here is going from here, and I know this might be very fundamental, but I'm just doing this so everyone can get it. Okay, so I'm going first. My first value is going to be 1. It's positive value, 1, comma, and then I'm going down. Now notice my cursor on the screen. Don't worry about that. That's just how AutoCAD behaves. So 1, comma, negative 1. So I type in 1, comma, negative 1, and then I hit my enter key and watch my cursor rise. I hit my enter key, boom, and I'm right there. So it gives me that point right there. So this is where you practice and you learn to have confidence that AutoCAD is going to give you what you're after. Now at this point, I've got to go here, and this next one is 3. So over here, over 3. So go over here, pull it over, type in 3. Now at this point, I got to go this way. Now going from here, I'm going over to the right again. Is the right positive or negative?
Positive.
Very good. And I'm going up. Is up positive or negative?
Positive.
Positive, right. So I go here and I type in 1, which is positive, comma, 1. And I do that. And I've got this right here. Now at that point, I'm just going to repeat the values that I had before. So 2.5, enter. Then I go over to the right, 1. Then I'm going to go up 0.5, like we talked about before, 0.5. Then the overall dimension we've seen is 7. So we have this, we're going to place the other side. So now I've got that shape. Now, that was great because it got me to where I wanted to be. All right, but now what I have to do is I actually have to draw a line from here to here. Now there's a lot of different ways to do this. I'm just going to show you one way, So you get the idea of it. Okay, so you got this right here. Now notice that this rectangle is aligned perfectly with this intersection right here. It comes right up here. So the distance is 1.5. So it goes from here over 1.5, and then you've got a 1x2 rectangle. Okay, so over 1.5 and then 1x2. Okay, so I'll show you how to do it this way. So we start the line command. We click in this lower left corner. We click here. We pull it over to the right. And we're going to type in 1.5. We're just going to draw the line. We'll just erase it later because you can do that. And we said before we go at 1, we go over 2, then we go down 1, over 2, and we stop it there. And then this little piece, this little tail here, we select that and delete it. There it is. That's all you got to do. There's other ways to do this. What I'll do is I'll just go and I'll erase that. And I'll show you how to do it another way. Okay, now using our object snap tracking is another really cool way to do this. I start the line command, I touch it without clicking here. Then I pull it over. And I haven't told it, I haven't clicked. So now it's asking me, well, how far do you want to come off this point? So I type in 1.5 here, and then it starts it. And so this way, I don't even have to go back and erase it when I'm done. So I'm just going to go through here. And I go over. That's another way. So those are the two ways you can do it. Now after that, you just go through the same routine we did before, which is your dimensions. So in my dimensions, I do the same exact thing I did before. So here, like that, and I go ahead and go here, like that, and then I would, okay, 1.5, okay. Here we go. I got, all right. And you can move these around a little bit if you need to. Just gotta click on this and you can move it a little bit like that. All right, so we get where you want to go. And then you also click on this and pull it outside. Do this. All right, and then my dimensions on the side. Okay, something like that. Okay, so you're all done. It's going to look like that essentially. And then the last thing, by the way, if you want to move these dimensions over a little bit, like I said, if they don't line up like this, if let's say when you put them in here, it's kind of like that, you can just click on this. And as long as you click on the grip, you can actually slide it so that it finds the other one. And then here's the other thing too. You can also click on these dimension lines and you can pull them back a little bit if you want to. Click here and pull it over like that. And it just makes life a little bit easier. Like that. And it just kind of like takes these out of the screen a little bit if you want to do it that way. That's just something that to kind of like do a little bit of a cleanup. You can do it that way. And I got to do two because there's two right next to each other. That's why I have to do it twice. Okay, and then we got that. Now, the same thing that we learned before is with the text. I'll do it one more time. And I'll put in this text here. So the text, click here, and this is drawing C. Okay, so everything I'm showing you right now is exactly how you want to do this. And I realize it's repetitious. There's another way you can actually move this. If I click on this, I can actually hold down my control key my arrow keys. This is what is called nudgement. Okay, it's kind of a little Photoshop trick. Then I'll save it as drawing C. All right, back to my desktop, drawing C. Like that. So go ahead and do that. Okay, so now at this point, we have got this. It looks really, really good. And we are in a good spot right there. All right, we're at 9 o'clock. We're just going to go a little bit further, and then we're going to stop for tonight. Okay, so I've got that. So these 4 are going to be due next week. So I've got that. Okay, so we've got that. So I close out of this. And yes, I'll see those changes. And we'll do one more. Now drawing this next one, drawing D, actually looks like this. Now this one is actually using very, very basic information. We've already kind of done some of this, okay? So we'll see how to do this. And as we put this together, let's kind of minimize that a little bit. Scoot this out of the way.
Is this for packaging?
Actually, it could be, yes. It's kind of like a little like foldable box, you know, kind of like you'd kind of serve Chinese food, and so you got that kind of a thing. And so a little takeout thing. So it's a 1.5 thing, and then you got these tabs over here. This is kind of cool. Because these are, notice this says 1.5 typical, and then 0.25 typical. So you've only got 2 dimensions you got to worry with here. Let me show you some here. This is actually using the last one. So go to new, this is the last one we'll do for tonight. I know I've been working with you guys pretty hard. So go to here, and I'm gonna go over here to this PC, and we'll go to downloads, and we'll do this again with our template. Okay, I deliberately do a very repetitive thing just because I find it easier. Okay, so what we're gonna do is, first of all, I've got this over here, which is, I've got these rectangles. They're all 1.5 by 1.5 squares. So I can draw one of them. Now, here's the thing. When you're working with AutoCAD, I'm going to introduce you to a new concept right now, and that is a polyline. A polyline allows you to make an object that is all one. Okay, essentially, it will make it a square that can then be manipulated as a square. I don't got to grab 4 separate lines. I can just grab one. So I do this. I go to polyline. So I start the polyline command, and I'll go ahead. I'm going to make this. So I click here, and I'm going to tell it 1.5. Boom. Then I go up 1. You don't have to say boom, by the way. 1.5. Okay. Don't have to. All right, but it's a bad habit I did. Okay, so you do that. Okay, so now you got that. Now when I click on this, you'll notice that it's all one entity. That's one of the really cool things about a polyline. Now at that point, I could just continue to draw them on top of each other. I could also make a rectangle. But here, just to show you how I could do this, let me say that's one way to do it. You could make it that way, or you could go here and use a rectangle. Now the rectangle command, if I click it here, I can just go ahead and click on one point. So I click, that's the first corner. Now over here, I can tell it what my X and Y value would be, which would be 1.5, comma, 1.5. They both make polylines. Okay, now once I've got this, when I click on it, it's all one entity. So now I'm going to show you how to use the copy command to actually make this work. So the copy command is actually located right here. It says copy. So I click on copy, and it says select the object. So this is an important thing. When you're with AutoCAD and you're working with a modify command, it's always going to say select objects. And there's only one, so I click on this one. So I click on it. And once I click on it, I select it, it highlights. Now at this point, I don't want any more. So what we get into right now is what you call a Mexican standoff. You know, AutoCAD is going to sit here saying select objects, and I'm done selecting objects. So I can tell AutoCAD I'm done by hitting the enter key. Or you can right click the mouse, that works too. Now once I've done that, it asks me to select a base point. Now your base point is very important because this is going to allow you to control this, okay? So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to click it at this lower left corner just to keep things real simple. So I'll go here, and when I do this, I click at my next point. And let me see, where's the next one going? I do one over here, I do one over here. Let's try that. Okay, let's see if I can do that. So right over here. Now at this point, my base point that I selected won't really work over to this side. I can't get over it, so I have to start it over again. So to copy, I copy on this, I use this. Now use this as my base point. I click here and I'm going over here. When I've done that, boom, I've got that. Pretty easy. That's all done. Now the tabs. The tabs are here, and they're all at, these are all at 45 degrees, okay? So they're 0.25 in each direction. So what I have to do is I have to tell AutoCAD to draw at 45 degrees. Well, fortunately, there's a very easy way to do it. it is right here at the polar tracking command. It looks like the pizza. There's a little triangle next to it, so I click there, and I can tell it what I want it to use as the default angle. Right now it's set for 30. I can change it to 45 degrees. So I'll choose 45 degrees. So I'll choose 45 degrees, then I'll start to draw the tab. So I can use Polyline for this too. So I click on Polyline. I'm going to click on this point here. So I click here, and we've seen that all the values are 0.25 all the way around. So I'm going to type in 0.25, comma, 0.25, like that. I got my enter key, and it does that. Now the distance over is going to be 1. And then I could either snap to this, or I could tell it where I want it to go, which is 0.25, comma, and then I'm going down, negative 0.25. There it is right there. When I've got that, what I could do then is I could then copy it. I go to copy. So you know what? I'm just going to copy this thing. Why not? I don't want to draw it every time. So I click there. And I go ahead and drop it there. So I've got that. And then I need one at the top too, don't I? No, I don't. Okay, so I need one down here. Okay, so I can keep on drawing it. So we'll just keep it simple right now. We'll get to some other commands later. But for right now, I'll use my Polyline command, and I'm going to draw this one out. So go from here, and I'm going to go over this. This is going to be 0.25. Oh, it's got to be, I'm going backwards. It's going to be negative 0.25. Negative 0.25, comma, it's going up 0.25. Like that. And I go over 1. And then I get to snap it right to here. So I've got that. Now that one, I've got that in place. Now it looks pretty good here. Now here's the thing. You could also use a command called mirror, or I can just keep on drawing them. So now that I showed you how to draw them, I'll show you how to use the mirror command. So if I use mirror, I can click on mirror. And when I click on mirror right here, I can go ahead and say, okay, I want you to mirror this, which means I'm going to make a copy around a mirror point, which is the midpoint here. Now watch how this works. I click here, I pull it down, okay? I pull it straight down, and I click like that. It asks me to erase a source object, and say no. Okay, so that's one way to do this. And then I can mirror these up to the top. So I'm going to mirror, and I'm going to grab this line and this line. Do that, and then the mirror point here is going to be here. So click here, and I go ahead and do this. And go ahead and mirror that down there. Erase source objects, no. And the very last thing I can do is copy this one right here. So copy this, and I'm going to go ahead and click here and pull it right down here, like that. When I'm done with that, boom, that's all you got to do. You could draw them all too. I just want to show you a shortcut. Now that we've done that, we're going to just finish this off by going here. And I'm going to put in a little notation here, which is going to go here, there to there, and pull it over, so it's 1.5, but it doesn't say typical. How do I do that? Well, to do this, let me show you a trick. This is very cool here. If I double click on this, it highlights in purple. Highlights in purple. Then I put my cursor, you'll notice my cursor is at the front. So I move my cursor to the back with my arrow key, type in a space, type in TYP, and type a period. And then I click on the green check mark, and there I have it. Like that. That's all you have to do that. Then I go ahead and do these as linear as well. So I click here, here to here. I missed that one. And then we can also move the move the text over once you use that. Few different tricks there. Okay, so when you're all done, it's going to look like that. And then the very last thing, just like we saw before, we'll go here, and we'll go to text, and we'll go ahead and draw this. Okay, and this is the last little bit here. So it's going to be drawing D. And this is a lot of repetition. I'm doing it on purpose. And this is to get us a foundation. Okay, none of this is terribly difficult, but it's all stuff you guys can work on. So anyway, that is going to be it. So I'm going to save this as right here. Save this as here, my desktop, drawing D. All right. Okay. So I'm going to do that and you upload it. And that is it. Okay, so that's all we're going to do for right now. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to stop it here. And those are the items that we're going to go ahead and work with right there. So save changes, yes. And we'll go ahead and that's going to be it. All right, so that's all we're going to do for tonight. I'm just going to park it here. Now, the way I work the class at this point right now is now we went a long time with the lecture. So right now that is, now we're into our lab time. Now, one thing I will do is over here is I'm going to go up to the top here and I'm going to go up to this. And I'm going to go to what's due when. Now, what's due when, just so it's clear right here, is over here. Now, for next week, what is due, and I'll send this to you, is you want A, B, C, and D. You want A, B, C, and D are due by the beginning of next week. So those 4 you want to do. So that means you got to download AutoCAD. You've got to have it ready to go. You're going to set AutoCAD up. You're going to draw those 4 drawings. You're going to submit those, and that is it. So that is all that we have. I'm going to send I'm going to update all the stuff right here to make it do that. But those 4 drawings are what you want to have done for next week. So I'm going to start.
Professor.
Yeah.
Professor, one question, please. We need to upload the drawing A to G until next class.